Why are we here? How can we be happy? These are questions I've been curious about since a very young age. I'm your host, Anna Goldstein, and this is the Profit with Purpose show. I believe we have the answers within us, but somewhere along the way, we stop trusting ourselves. I'm interviewing top entrepreneurs, healers, and change makers about mindfulness strategies and practical tools to help you carve your path. Join me as you reconnect with your heart and live courageously so that we make the world a better place. Welcome back, Purpose Seekers. This is episode number 158. And today I will be talking about perspective, because so often we can mentally label something as good or bad and then be upset about it or happy about it, depending on how we label it. So the obvious good ones we don't really need to worry much about, but the ones that we label bad and the things that we're interpreting in our life as bad are opportunities to really look a little bit closer. And I'm going to share a story with you, a Zen story about how to shift our perspective or how to be with something that is more difficult. Because a lot of the time we label something as bad when we really don't know. And there's this space between. We don't like to say that we don't know. We don't like to have the unknown. And so what we'll end up doing is we'll decide something is bad mentally, right? Rather than it being open or unknown. So here's the story. Here's how the Zen story goes. It's called Maybe. There is a story of an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. One day his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit. "Such bad luck," they said sympathetically. "Maybe," the farmer replied. The next morning the horse returned, bringing with it 3 other wild horses. "How wonderful," the neighbors exclaimed. "Maybe," replied the old man. The following day his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses, was thrown, and broke his leg. The neighbors again came to offer their sympathy on his misfortune. "Maybe," answered the farmer. The day after, military officials came to the village to draft young men into the army. Seeing that the son's leg was broken, they passed him by. The neighbors congratulated the farmer on how well things had turned out. "Maybe," said the farmer. So sometimes we don't know the whole picture to what's going to happen. And what seemingly might seem bad, we actually don't know if it's so bad. Maybe it's working out for your benefit. Maybe taking a wrong turn, quote unquote, is actually leading you towards something that's better. So there was this time in my life that I remember really clearly. It was a time where I had decided for sure, I knew that I wanted to be a coach. And I reached out to a coach to hire me to work for her. And she said, okay. And I started working for her and I quit my job. And I was so happy because I was so certain this was what I wanted to do with my life. And we were working together, and slowly things started to get not so great. She was calling me some names. She was telling me that I was dyslexic. I wasn't doing things right. And slowly she wasn't giving me as much work as she had promised, which meant she wasn't paying me as much as she had promised. And it just was not going well, this relationship. But I wanted it to work so bad that I stayed in it for several months when it wasn't working. And eventually I reached a point where I had to get a job because the money was dwindling and the relationship was unhealthy. My confidence was compromised and I was really upset. So I actually ended up getting the last job that I had. I actually ended up getting a sales job at Equinox because I loved fitness and I wanted to be around inspirational people. And I met somebody there who worked there who was a instructor there. His name is Steve Feinberg and he runs a speedball business. And I became friendly with him. And to make a very long story very short, he introduced me to my husband. So at first, what seemed like such big disappointment for me to have this relationship with this coach completely fall out. It was so heartbreaking for me, but it led me to get a new job, which I ended up meeting my husband, and it's way better off that I'm working for myself than I am working for her. So the next time that your mind wants to say, oh, that's bad, such bad luck. This is misfortune, to just go maybe. Maybe something else is here. Even though we tend to avoid the unknown, I think it's helpful being in the unknown of we don't know. We actually don't know. So as you move through and navigate different things that you might not be going your way, misfortunes that maybe we don't know how it's going to turn out. Maybe it's not misfortune. Maybe it's not bad luck. Maybe it's something better. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends and family and write a review. It keeps this podcast going. Questions? Email me at info@annagoldstein.com. Remember to carve your path and be kind to someone today.